In the spring of 2003, Vancouver completed the regular season with a franchise record 104 points. In the opening round, they rallied to win a 7-game series over the St. Louis Blues, marking the first time in 8 years they had advanced to the second round. It was a close call, however. The league's best line of Marcus Naslund, Brendan Morrison, and Todd Bertuzzi started slowly. Trevor Linden, who had been pointless in the first 6 games, also caught fire late, starring in the decisive 7th game. The Wild, coached by Jacques Lemaire, ended the year with 95 points, a 22-point improvement. This was the first time they had made the postseason ever. Facing the cup-contending Colorado Avalanche, Jacques Lemaire switched goaltenders after losing 3 of the first 4 games. With Manny Fernandez leading the way, Minnesota became just the 8th team ever to overcome a 3-1 series deficit by winning 2 on the road. Making the upset even more dramatic was the fact that the final 2 games had both been won in overtime. Well, many wondered how the Wild, a team that prided itself on keeping an even keel, would respond after the emotionally charged Avalanche series. Well, Minnesota had converted many skeptics with their huge upset. Others waited for that playoff bubble to burst. Canuck fans hoped that it would come in the opener in Vancouver.
Darby Hendrickson. Now the Sedins working diligently in the Minnesota zone. Hendrickson wraps it in front. Pass flat. The Malik shots right on. And Fernandez covers up. Can't get it past Linden. Now Chubara. Ruutu shot right on. Jarkko Ruutu testing Fernandez. Gets it. Back to Roddy, who mans the point. Here's Sergei Zoltak into the middle. Dishes off. Huba back in front. Kluche down. They score! Power play goal. And it's Sergei Zoltak.
And we are watching and witnessing the formula that just beat the Colorado Avalanche for Minnesota. Patient hockey and then stingy on the power play.
Talk along the boards. May comes up with it. Brad May tried to go to the net. Now Reed steps in there. Falls behind the Wild goal. He'll be held in by Kuba. They score! Tipped with a high stick and waved off on the deflection of the Salo shot. And Mark Jeanette was waving it off immediately.
Peek at it. Remember, the stick has to be below the crossbar when it makes contact.
And not much doubt about that.
Nope. As Brad May had to reach up to get the puck. No argument whatsoever from Coach Crawford.
Behind the net again. He continues to battle. Walks in front. And Kluche down to smother the puck. And the Wild gaining confidence in the late stages of this first period. Here's Ruutu to Morrison. Short-handed chance. Hauled down by Roddy. Penalty coming up.
There it is. That's what they need right there.
And they still have possession of the puck in the Minnesota zone, trying to kill some time. And get a chance. Jovanovski scores! And Jovanovski! And Cliff Roddy incensed. He felt Minnesota had played the puck. Attempt by Sopel. Zoltak sends it back in wide. There's Andrew Burnett looking to center and a shot off the post as Richard Park blasted that off the far post. Park hit the post in 3 consecutive games in the Colorado series, and that's knocked down by Laaksonen. Kept in by Jovanovski. Morrison tried to get it across. Naslund was in behind the defense. Now Bertuzzi plays it off the back of the net in front. Oh, the chance to score! Morrison! It is. The red light's on. And the officials taking a long look at where this puck is.
The red light is on. They're going to go upstairs.
The officials never made a signal as if this puck was in.
Is it? Not there.
And they're saying no goal.
Yep.
Inconclusive.
Another opportunity to give away here.
Now Sedin on the attack. Daniel to Hendrick. And the tip stopped by Fernandez, who looked over his right shoulder. Dying seconds of a dangerous-looking power play. Daniel Sedin fires. Fernandez. The stop and the rebound went by Clark. We couldn't reach it. Now Malik dumps it back in. Linden on it. Trying to cut in. Fernandez the save. Outlet for Barron. There's Gabrick picking it off. Gabrick in the backhand. Stopped by Kluche. the puck going to the net. Wes Walz in front, scores! Wes Walz, the go-ahead goal. Less than 3 minutes into the third. Now Brent Sopel sends it back in from his own side of center. Race for it. Naslund gets there first. Good hustle by Naslund in front. Off Fernandez. Here's Jovanovski. Shot. Knocked down in front. Morrison got a whack at it. And Fernandez has it. And they'll scrum in front of the Minnesota net. Linden stays on the puck. Out to Sopel. And Olin. Shot. Deflecting. Fernandez down. Still loose. And it's under Fernandez. In the crease. And there's Linden battling with Hendrickson as they're cleared out from the front of the Minnesota net. The 2-1 lead. Here's Walz again. Unable to barge in. Gabrick's got it. Morrison watching Gabrick, who set up the goal. Shot, scores! And he just set up another by Wes Walz.
And this line has been eating up the big line for the Canucks in this third period. With their speed and quick feet. Lots of time left here for the Canucks, but they got to continue to get the puck in deep.
Trying to get it in deep and get a change for Vancouver. Under 9 minutes remaining in the third period. Walz got caught up with Gabrick. Here's Naslund in. Scores! Now Kuba winds up. Shot right on. Gabrick rebound. Oh, he put it through the goal mouth and out the other way.
And there is Mark Crawford mapping out the play. You'll probably see Naslund slide back to the point shot.
Ready to go from the face-off. Naslund backhand into the traffic. Fernandez, they score! 1.2 left on the clock, and the Canucks have tied it.
Naslund just finally ends up going to his backhand. Now in front you can see flat with some pretty good traffic. Where is the puck? No, it's open the whole time. The puck is wide open sitting in the crease. There it is. As Manny Fernandez loses sight with 1.2 seconds to go.
Matt Cook has his first of the playoffs, and for the first time in the Stanley Cup playoffs, the Vancouver Canucks are headed to overtime on a buzzer beater by Matt Cook.
When they're getting changes.
Here's a giveaway. Hendrickson, Daniel on the backhand, and he's stopped by Fernandez. He was great in overtime in both games 6 and 7 against Colorado. And there's a high stick. Sekera's got the stick up high on Hendrickson, and the Canucks will get a power play early in overtime. Daniel waits, and now his brother checks back in. Daniel holds, fires, Tim scores! Trent Klatt in overtime, and the Canucks win Game 1 on a goal by a Minnesota native.
Just as they did against the Blues, the Canucks showed the determination necessary to win the Cup. The bubble had burst for the Wild in the dying minutes of Game 1, and now the team's resiliency would be tested. Many wondered if the Wild would be able to emotionally recover in time for Game 2. Arrested Dwayne Rollison would get the start in net for the game.
Vancouver zone and getting a change. Matthias Olin over to Jovanovski. Those two lock the most ice time this year. Here's Cook in, and a big stop early by Rollison. Dwayne Rollison on Matt Cook. Jovanovski moves up, puts it through the goal mouth. Now Pascal Dupuis, who also has great wheels, is out there. Room for Gabrick. In, fires. Big glove stop by Danny Cloutier off the hot Marion Gabrick. Play it around for Naslund. In behind the Wild net. Now Bertuzzi centers. Naslund stopped by Rollison. Big chance there on a nice feed by Todd Bertuzzi. There's that flip in, and Linden's on it first. He gets it to Chavarov. In front. Rollison a pad stop. And Philip Kuba takes over ahead, and Cook gets it out to May at center. Dupuis gathers it back in. Here's a chance, and Gabrick couldn't get it to Hendrickson, loose on the right side. Now Gabrick fired, scores! Oh, what a blast by Marion Gabrick, and he has his 5th goal of the playoffs. He picked up by Schultz. Naslund takes a look. Morrison, big stop, Willison. Bertuzzi parked on the doorstep. Morrison again. Bertuzzi, Naslund, Sopel, and he blocked it wide. Biggest similarity said they underestimated our offensive talent in Florida, and nobody gives Minnesota credit for the offensive talent they have. Here's Chubarov over the line. Linden. Trevor Linden has Jovanovski. Scores! As Kuba came down from his right point position, but couldn't get the shot away. There's a shot off target. Kuba at the side of the net. Penalized player back. They score! The penalty had ended, but Sergei Zoltak fires it into the net, and the Wild have a 2-1 lead on a Zoltak even-strength goal.
The puck will go back behind the net. And if you can keep an eye on Kluche, he peeks over his right shoulder, and the time he looks at the pass, it's too late. Let's not forget, Vancouver came back in game 1.
And came back from 2 goals down. Baron and Salo on the ice against Gabrick. Scores! Gabrick to Walls! And it's a 2-goal lead again here tonight for Minnesota. Sekaresh hacking to Henrik. Henrik Sedin now gives way. Daniel back up top. Sammy Salo fires. Rebound. Loose. Olin scores! Matthias Olin! 92 seconds left. There's Naslund. Hot in front. Did he just miss that puck? Jovanovski shot. Loose. Clock. Walks at it. Willison down. And Nick Magoo stopped play. The red light flashed on, but the puck never did enter the net. And in this final minute, 54.7 seconds, we'll get a face-off in the Minnesota zone.
Unbelievable pressure.
6 Canucks to center, fired in on Rolison. And Rolison tried to gather it in, lost it. Center, Naslund, shot, and Rolison's got it. Oh, what a chance there, as Rolison didn't freeze the puck. Morrison, Jovanovski, a long shoot in, Bertuzzi after it. Clock ticks down in front. Here's Morrison, but time has expired. And the Minnesota Wild hang on tonight to even this series at a game apiece. Their 4th road victory of the Stanley Cup playoffs.
Let's play hockey! Yes, the state of hockey in a state of pandemonium. Jim Dowd makes his first appearance of the series and faces off against Trevor Linden, gets it deep, and from the get-go, Brad May drops the gloves with Matt Johnson, so it didn't take long. Nick Schultz put it at center, and it's picked off by Dupuis. Here's Park in front, and the puck shot wide, loose, Park reaching for it, and a penalty upcoming against Wes Walls. Goaltender interference on Walls. Potential 2-on-1, shorthanded. Now Naslund works it in. 50 seconds gone and a power play that hasn't got set. But now Naslund has it organized. Shot in traffic, scores! Morrison on the doorstep, and the Canucks strike first and have the lead. Interesting face-off alignment, and the Wild win the draw. They had 2 men. One of them, Gabrick, standing on the right side. Kuba scores! Power play goal. Philip Kuba ties it. The Latvian center iceman skating to the line. Lost the puck. Naslund in. Couldn't get a shot away. Upended by Brown. Tries to center it. Being watched by Park. First pass blocked, second pass Malik. Shot and stopped. Check that, Sammy Salo with the blast. Rolison with the save. And we got another penalty. And this one's going against the Canucks. The Wild on the power play. Here Here's Jim Dowd setting up, firing it. Cloutier the stop, the rebound. Burnett knocked it wide. Salo has it in the corner. Zuzin, he swatted Zuzin away, and it's kept in by Sopel. Now Naslund, Bertuzzi parks in front, and there's Jovanovski moving up again. Started back, he'll set up in front. There's the pass, there's the goal! And Jovanovski has his 5th of the Stanley Cup playoffs, and the Canucks lead 2-1.
And this is working very well for Vancouver. They got their power play going now. The Vancouver Canucks overload the zone. The zone here, Bertuzzi here, ties up Sekaras. Waltz can't come down enough.
10 minutes gone, second period. 2-1 Canucks. Here come the Wild. Zoltak to Gaborik, scores! Marian Gaborik! On the right side, Daniel Sedin. 5 assists in these playoffs. Henrik works it out. Under 20 seconds left in the power play. Deflection, scores! There's Daniel Sedin's first playoff goal of the year. Jovanovski again. That pass broken up. And on the counter quickly, Dupuis fires off the goalpost. Pascal Dupuis, net knocked ajar. Down to take the draw, but Trevor Linden won it purely and in behind the net. Now maybe a last shot. Kuba off the post. Philip Kuba hit the goalpost, and that's the second rung up in this last 5 minutes, and there was time on the clock. 2 and out, and this game is over, and the Vancouver Canucks have won their second road game of the playoffs and their second game of this series, and have regained home ice in the Western Conference semifinal. Sidesteps one man and works in. Here's Linden, and Fernandez just able to squeeze the arm and make that save on the shot by Linden. Here's Kuba, coolly to center, a right wing pass through to Stevenson. Gaborik scores! Sergei Zoltak, who has a power play goal in the series. Brunette, great pass, Roddick in, holding, passing in front, and another shot. Cloutier the stop, where is it? He's got it, and somehow keeps it out. Dan Cloutier at his spectacular best.
Cloutier is razor sharp tonight. He was razor sharp in the morning skate, and somehow he pulls his puck right out of the air.
Marcus Naslund over to Sopel, shot right on, and Bertuzzi took a whack at goaltender Fernandez.
And he also took a whack at Mitchell.
And the puck comes loose, and away goes Stevenson. Gaborik will get one last chance, fires right on, and Cloutier has to make one more save. Pretty wild behind the icing line, maybe a chance for the Canucks to bust out, and away goes Letowski. 3-on-2 rush, Letowski in front, scores! Matt Cook, as the Wild got caught, Andre Zuzin 200 feet away, as Cook ties the score. Trevor Letowski in the series. Grandma Red of the Letowski family made the trip today, and you can bet she's thrilled right now, but here comes Wes Walz, across, scores! They get it right back! Who it is.
And here is the breakdown here as Matthias Olin tries to shovel the puck up boards instead of just passing it up to Bertuzzi, and that creates the 2-on-1 on the counter-attack.
That's textbook Wild hockey right there. Bertuzzi back to Naslund. Here's the late man, Barron. A shot, rebound, Fernandez with 2 stops off Murray Barron. Brendan Morrison to the point, shot, traffic in front, and Fernandez made the save. Great 4-on-4 work by the Canucks. Sopel again scores! Brent Sopel with the shot, wasn't redirected. It's tied at 2.
And here is the slot chance, and what a tip by Jovanovski. What a beautiful tip. He goes for a little skate, a little pumper.
Yeah, that's... Zoltak looks Rick wide, and that deflected and had to be flagged down by Kluche. Another example of how well he's seeing the puck.
You would think the Wild would have a little bit of an edge in this department based on the stats, but not so far in this game.
Here's Jimmy Dowd with some room, winds up, and that hot shot high ends up on the mesh. And it hit a Canuck on the way, so the faceoff will be in the Vancouver zone.
Trying to lift Bertuzzi's stick and misses. And when he does, he clips him right in the face.
With 7:49 to go in this first overtime period.
Bertuzzi doing his best to show the official that he's bleeding, and maybe he is. Will it be 2 or 4? I think it's going to be 4 minutes here. So a 4-minute power play to the Vancouver Canucks.
Daniel Sedin behind the net, centered it. Right back up top, Jovanovski, look out, he's lost it. Hendrickson, breakaway. Darby Hendrickson, stopped by Kluche. As Hendrickson has the best chance, shorthanded, but the other way. Here comes Daniel Sedin, dropping it off.
And away goes Darby Henderson in a foot race with Salo. Now, because of Salo's back pressure, Kluche knows that it's very difficult for Darby Henderson to deke, because the minute he goes from one side to the other, yes, Salo can take him.
Marcus Naslund, Park's back out. Richard Park right back out. Here's Morrison. Dishing Naslund, Sopel one time, scores! Brent Sopel, another Sopel shot results in the game-winning goal. And the Vancouver Canucks have a 3-1 series lead.
Keep an eye on Bertuzzi here. There he is parked in front. And Fernandez completely overplays it. He's lost his goal stick in this one. And Bertuzzi again provides the screen. Fernandez is right out of it.
It appears the hockey gods are smiling on the Vancouver Canucks, because for the second time in this series, they've found an improbable way to win. After a series of questionable calls set up a 4-on-4 situation in the dying moments, Brent Sopel set up the game-tying goal and scored the eventual game winner on a rare 4-minute power play in overtime.
Obviously, you're fortunate, be able to get a power play in overtime, but we worked hard for a lot of our breaks. If we keep our feet moving, be physical, we get a lot of breaks, and we keep working hard, and that's what happened.
There's only one reason. I'm sorry. There's only one reason why they tied.
Why is that?
You guys saw the game. I can't comment on it.
The Canucks now have a commanding 3-1 lead in this series, but know the toughest game to win is the 4th. And with the Wild having been in this position before, the Canucks are not taking anything for granted.
They always, 4th win is always the toughest. So, but it's nice to have, 3-1 advantage. But, we're not looking at it that way. We know that we got to play, the next game as a Game 7.
This was clearly Dan Kluche's best game of this series. He stopped 25 shots, including a number of key saves in the second period to keep this a 1-goal game.
I felt good throughout, even though it's tough because you don't get a lot of action. I've been feeling pretty good. Obviously, I felt really good against St. Louis, but in this series, yeah, it's probably been my best game.
Todd Bertuzzi may have gone pointless again in Game 5, but once again he showed his contributions to the team in other areas. He drew the penalty on the game-winning goal and was also in front of the net for Brent Sopel's shot. And his thunderous hit on Willie Mitchell, which resulted in a debatable boarding call, may have ended the series for Mitchell. He appears to have suffered a serious wrist injury. Farhan Lalji, TSN, St. Paul, Minnesota.
Ahead of the show, trailing 3-1 in the series, the Wild try to become the first team ever to overcome that deficit twice in the same playoff year.
Matt Johnson with the shot wide. The big winger of the Wild out there along with Dowd and Park. Now Kluche out of the net. He'll send it around the boards, knocked down by Dowd. Ricochets in front. They score! Richard Park got the carom, and the puck is in the net for the opening goal. Now gets it back again. Walks in. Here's Naslund. Ricochets in front. Shot, and he rolled it wide. Jovanovski on the doorstep again. Fires right on. Puck loose and cleared as Rollison was beaten. And somehow it was knocked out, and now mask off, play stopped. Centering pass, and Platt knocked it off Wall's stick. Great pressure here. Morrison takes a look. Gets it to Naslund again. Shot, scores! Talk again, 10 seconds left for a three, bouncing through the crease. And it's Gabrick up top, Ronning, shot, scores! Looked like it hit some of the traffic in front. Wasn't Brunette. It is a Wild go-ahead goal.
Gabrick with a good pass back to Ronning. There, right in front. I'm pretty sure Brunette touched this puck. The Vancouver Canucks, or either that or Cloutier just missed it.
This line with great pressure. Morrison spilled. And up ice comes Wes Walls. Fans in an uproar. Brunette's got a chance. In front. Rebound. Marshall scores. And it will be the third Minnesota goal. Jason Marshall.
Some ridiculous coverage by the Vancouver Canucks on the back check. As four Canucks chase the puck, and that left the late man wide open.
Jovanovski there, sends it around. There's Willie Mitchell, putting it deep. There's Brunette, trying to come out in front, backhand, scores! Andrew Brunette, and it's 4-1 Minnesota.
Is Mark Crawford yank Cloutier here or not? Because Cloutier on this play is right out of it. The Wild suddenly, unbelievably, are up 4-1 here midway through the second.
Willie Mitchell drew an assist on the fourth Minnesota goal. He got it to Walls. Stevenson moves up. Jeremy Stevenson. Shot, scores. Marion Gabrick. And it's 5-1 Minnesota. Seventh time in Canuck history that they have surrendered four in a playoff period. And here may be another running. Robbed by Cloutier, rebound, scores, and there's a record goal scored by a former Canuck, Cliff Ronning, as it really unravels here in Vancouver. And have tonight and put on it. Here's a goal. Henrik chops it in. A last-minute goal here in the second to take a little of the sour taste out of their mouth.
Well, that's a 4-goal lead now for the Wild.
They'll come back. We're through two. The shots were 12-6 in favor of Minnesota. Now Kuba got his stick up with Linden. Susan steps in. Brad May, Sopel there for Vancouver. Now Rolison backpedaling, and Cloutier wants to get a Rolison.
And he's going to try. Now that's just completely unraveling, because now the Canucks are going to start the third period, I am sure, a man short again.
Not surprisingly, Minnesota dominating the face-off circle tonight. Not that time, though, and a Naslund shot stopped by Rolison. Minnesota losing that draw, but they've been good on 55% of the face-offs tonight. The Canucks needed to make something happen quickly in this third period, but the Wild haven't allowed it. Platt now with a chance. Rolison, a huge stop.
How did that stay out?
That looked like it was going in, and Rolison may have grabbed it.
And Dan Cloutier once again, with a lot of pressure on him, will have to rebound in Game 6.
The puck kept in by Olin. And knocked away. Walls with a break. Here's Wes Walls down the ice. Down the trailer. Walls scores. Short-handed. 7-2 Minnesota. And Wes Walls has a three-point night. The Canucks tied it and started to dominate. But the domination for the next 40 minutes was all Minnesota. And we go back to the Twin Cities. 6.
No team has ever come back from 3-1 down twice in the same playoff year. The Wild keep that dream alive here tonight.
What's to say? It's because my lucky sucks. We were looking for breaks in this series, and I think we got all of them today.
We lost our composure in the second period, and we started playing uncharacteristically impatient. And not only were we impatient, but we didn't win many battles. And when you don't win battles and you play with impatience against that team, they're going to execute well. And when you put those things together, it spells a not very good night, and that's what it was.
Said, boys, we're down in this series, but Vancouver's been just plain lucky. And then he walked out. And the players have so much respect for Lemaire, they said, oh, lucky. Lucky. All right, yeah, they were lucky. Let's go win. And they did.
And he finds Morrison. Here's Brendan Morrison right in. And that is stopped by Rolison. And as well as the Canucks are playing, so too is Dwayne Rolison. Late stages of the first. Sopel at the line. Daniel Sedin in front. Kicked out rebound. Oh, clap. Just missed. Another chance. Sopel.
How tough is this game already for Cloutier, seeing just 3 or 4 shots after period 1.
Final PK shift. Kuba headmans the puck. Walls got it. And there's a shot. Kicked there. Rebound. Burnett scores. Andrew Burnett. Another late power play goal. Speaking of speed, here goes Walls. Wes Walls. Shot. Cloutier. 2 big stops. Oh, Wes Walls is flying tonight. Here's Letowski short-handed with Chubarov. A 2-on-1. Chubarov stopped by Rolison. Another short-handed chance. And another Dwayne Rolison save. Now down. There was a broken stick. It was Marshall's. He's gone to the bench. Centered. Kuba stopped by Cloutier. A huge stop by the Canuck netminder. Joel Tuck. Stevenson stopped by Cloutier. Stevenson's had some chances. Gabrick plays it up top. Sekerash fires, scores! Baumgartner seeing more action early in the third than in the first 2 periods. Here's a giveaway. Route 2 shot, and Rolison stopped that. Looked like Rolison gave up a little room on the short side, and the puck sent down the ice. Linden after it. Beaten to the puck by Mitchell. Now Laxinen scampering into the Vancouver zone, comes up with a puck, looks for running across. Hendrickson scores! Darby Hendrickson, his first on the postseason. Canucks need something now to try and turn this game around. Here's Bertuzzi in. Todd Bertuzzi. What a poke check by Rolison. Olin's moved up. Hendrick back up top. Baumgartner returns the pass. Daniel Sedin. Rolison down. And he's got it. And holds it.
What a story Dwayne Rolison has been tonight. Solid as a rock.
Bertuzzi, Morrison, Naslund back out. 30 seconds left. Power play. Scores! Jovanovski has another power play goal. His 7th goal of the playoffs. His 4th with the man advantage and a little life with 11:03 to go.
Will this give the Canucks the life they're looking at here? They're sitting there for a split second.
Jovanovski's 7th from Naslund and Morrison. Running to Laxinen. Scores! Nolan with it. Gave it away. Running. Knocked off his stick. They score! Andrew Burnett's got another. 5-1 Wild. Canucks looking for anything positive now. Jovanovski, Linden in front. Naslund centers it. Rolison down, and he's got it. And they did seem determined not to give Vancouver a sniff of a silver lining here tonight. Centered, and this one's over. And the Wild are going to a Game 7 again.
Game 6 was a carbon copy of Game 5, as the Wild withstood the Canucks' first period onslaught before taking control of the game in the second. Vancouver has now had 2 chances to close out Minnesota. Instead, they have been outscored 12-3.
There's no one pressing here, and we put ourselves in the situation. It seems that we always have to do it the hard way, but I'm very confident in our team's ability to get through with it.
We didn't play a very good first period. I mean, we were running around a little bit too much, and it wasn't the type of hockey that we set out to play. I mean, we struggled a little bit at home, and we wanted to put a better effort in, and then I think we put too much of an effort in.
While the Canucks penalty killing has struggled throughout the postseason, even more demoralizing is the number of times the goals have come late in a power play. Minnesota's first 2 goals in this game came in the final 10 seconds of a Canuck penalty.
It's hard because you've done a good job for most of it. It's just that last little bit. But give them credit. They've got a good power play, and they move it around. And one tonight we lost a stick on it and didn't have a chance to recover.
Yeah, but those are adversities you gotta find a way to get through. And tonight we tried other things that didn't work.
The Canucks need look no further for answers than the remarkable disappearance of their offensive superstars during the regular season. Todd Bertuzzi has yet to score in this series and has 1 goal in his last 18 games, while Marcus Naslund has gone goalless in 5 and is increasingly becoming a defensive liability against the Marian Gaborik line.
I think we all feel the pressure, but I'm not going to go out of my way. I'm going to try to do my job, and I'm confident that the rest of the team is doing theirs.
After giving up 11 goals in his last 2 games, Canuck goaltender Dan Cloutier chose not to address the media, choosing instead to exit via the back door. The Wild, meanwhile, are now a perfect 5-0 when facing elimination. The last team to do that in one playoff year, the 1994 Vancouver Canucks. Farhan Lalji, TSN, St. Paul, Minnesota.
Canucks are going to have to get traffic in front of them, number 1, and number 2, try to move them from one side of the net to the other.
Gets it to the captain. Naslund tucking it. And Rolison quickly covering that side of the net.
Much better shift for Marcus Naslund. Todd Bertuzzi has been taken off this line with Brendan Morrison.
Accident tied up by Sopel. Morrison, he couldn't come up with the puck. Walls has it. Flips in front. Cloutier down. And he makes a big stop. Dan Cloutier shuts the door quickly. Into the Wild zone, rolls the shot. Rolison steered it away. Back up top, a shot. Rolison saved. Linden got a whack at it, and Rolison stopped that. 9 seconds of the period. 1 chance for Bertuzzi. He knocks the stick out of the hands of Rolison. Here's Bertuzzi trying to capitalize. Malik shot in the crease and swept away at the horn. And Rolison's not happy about the fact Bertuzzi swatted the stick right out of his hand. Blatt's got it. Now Naslund. Watched by Hendrickson. Centers. Morrison's shot. Rolison can't find it. And now he's got it as he robs Brendan Morrison. Burnett centers. Down, flipped it wide. And now the Canucks backpedaling again. Center ash stopped by Cloutier. Now Burnett knocked down by Baumgartner. In behind the net, Ruutu. Jarkko Ruutu with some traffic in front. Reed is causing some trouble. Sopel, Olin, crisscross, shot, scores! Matthias Olin let it go! Let's see if they can do it again here. Lead pass, Bertuzzi in lone. Bertuzzi scores!
Scores, and that's been a bonus as far as I am concerned for the Canucks. Just the way he's played throughout this series, he's been so physical. And here's the ride he gave Wes Walsh that's really slowed him down. And once again, there is the goal.
2, goal top, trying to dig it free, and it does come loose. Malik battling, puck in front, they score! Oh, a weird one, as the puck sailed in front. Cloutier never knew it was in the net. And the Wild are on the board with 4:30 left in the second. Turn back. Blatt gets a piece of Kuba. Now Walls. Up ahead it goes. Laxton into the Vancouver zone. In front. Off a skate. Scores. Wes Walls scores the goal into an almost open net. And we are tied at 2.
Give Bertuzzi something on a point shot on that situation when he's behind the net, because you know the Wild are jamming in front of the net.
Here's a quick counter by the Wild. Darby Hendrickson scores! Darby Hendrickson Eriksson, the former Canuck, has given Minnesota a 3-2 lead with 5:12 left. Trying to get it across. There's some room on this side for Morrison. Takes a look, can't get it through. And a crash in front of the net. Bertuzzi, Zuzan, and Rolison. And Rolison's been shaken up.
Here comes Bertuzzi, and he just pushes.
Dupuis on the other side. 15 seconds left in the Minnesota power play. Now Zoltok coming out in front. Shot. Scores on the rebound. Dupuis, his second of the night. And it's 4-2 Minnesota. Seven seconds left in the penalty to Bertuzzi. Trevor Linden puts it to the front of the net. Loose there. Bertuzzi, one whack. Another. Rolison down, and it won't go in. So many high points for Vancouver coming to a close. And the unlikeliest Western Conference final matchup. The Minnesota Wild will play the Mighty Ducks of Anaheim in the Western Conference final.
For the first time in this series, the Vancouver Canucks had a 2-goal lead, and much like the series itself, they let it slip away. Minnesota took advantage of a pair of fortunate bounces to tie this game, and they simply wouldn't go away. They now become the first team in NHL history to come back from a 3-1 deficit twice in one playoff.
It's unfortunate. It's very unfortunate. I had really high hopes for this year.
Couldn't have asked for a better game plan, and the guys went out and did a good job. They got a strange bounce in the first goal and another one in the second goal, and all of a sudden you think you deserve better, but it's a tie game. So it's a bitter pill to swallow, no question.
We talked about, before the third period started, that, a great of a year we've had, and just to go out there and work and just leave it all out there, everything that we have.
Another 4 goals got past Dan Cloutier in this game, the eventual game winner he would love to have back. Over the past 3 games, Cloutier has given up 15 goals.
They've done it to Colorado, and they deserve it. They're a very good team. They stick to team things, and that's why they're successful.
Ironically, the Wild still managed to score 4 goals on a night when the Canucks finally contained Marian Gaborik as his 8-game point-scoring streak came to an end. For the Canucks, it's now a long off-season of what could have been. 14 free agents, including 11 that are restricted. One of those, goaltender Dan Cloutier. Farhan Lalji, TSN, Vancouver.